Are you
What do
done?
you don't want no Doak renovations?
Are
What?
you done?
You don't want no
Are
Doak
you done?
renovations?
Bro, this is going to sound really bad. We don't deserve it. We don't. I'm sorry, listeners, fans, friends.
Can I quote you on that and tweet it?
We don't deserve this shit, man. We ain't won nothing. We ain't caught nothing. We ain't scored nothing. We ain't kicked nothing. We ain't done nothing.
Hey, well, the good thing is that the renovations are planned for 2024, so hopefully they do something before then.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Mann. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. Go Dogs.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, aka E-Dub, in the house. We're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. Go live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear. Go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by No Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. FSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by No Game Day. We are here on this wonderful and most beautiful Thursday evening. Good Friday is tomorrow. Happy holidays, happy Easter to everyone listening right now. Thank you guys for tuning in with us weekly here on Hear the Spear. Tonight, just the three of us. We're just starting to dwindle down. Los is lost in the desert somewhere. Nate's trying to figure out what's going on with his restaurant and trying to save the day. But you know what? You still got the three amigos here. Austin Veazey, our lead basketball writer at the top. And at the bottom, Dustin Lewis, our lead writer and editor. Gentlemen, it's just the three amigos. What's going on?
Yeah, we're back to the old days, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, this is how it all started.
Feels like last year.
Yeah, I was about to say, these are the original three amigos for Hear the Spear. So this is nothing new. Is everybody having a good week so far? Austin, your weekend is like starting right now because your birthday's on Saturday.
Yeah, kind of starting right now. I already got my green team socks in the mail. No, we're starting things off great.
I got no comment on that.
You want to buy those? Buy those? Dustin?
I got other socks too.
How much did they cost?
I got them at a discount. They're like $13.
Not too bad. You just got to get someone. You got to get someone on the green team to actually sign those things.
Well, I sign them.
And they're pretty cool.
Where
are you gonna wear them to?
Work. They're socks.
I don't know if you can pull that off.
What do you mean? I wear sweatpants to work. They're not going to see them.
Oh, well.
Dustin, you can't. Once again, you cannot be the one to grade people on what they're wearing. You just
I'm not grading him. I'm just saying,
you wear slides.
You gotta find something that fits with those socks. You got some shoes that'll go with those?
Yeah. I got a jersey.
What kind of shoes are you gonna wear?
Green Jordan 1s. And I'm gonna wear my Minnesota North Stars jersey that is also green.
Okay.
Just go on.
It was just Green Day.
Yeah.
Green Day. Well, before we start off, let's run down what we're going to be talking about this evening. We got a lot of stuff. What me and Dustin went to last weekend at Florida State's Spring Scrimmage. I was number 2 that we've been able to view publicly. Got a lot to talk about there. We'll talk about the winners from that day, maybe some losers too. There was a little bit more sloppy than the first one. Also today, some kind of breaking news with the Doak renovations possibly happening in 2024. We'll discuss that in the article that came out from the Tallahassee Democrat. Before we get to basketball, we'll talk about some recruiting, as Florida State has a big time spring game coming up with a big time list. I mean, this list was going to probably near 80, if not more, by the spring game. You think, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we're already over 70, if I'm not correct. I did remove a couple people today, so we're sitting in that high 60s, low 70s range at the moment. And, I mean, you're still 9 days out from the spring game. Each day, prospects are tweeting out or confirming that they will be in attendance of that game. So, yeah, like you said, it's just going to keep rising up. And, I mean, it might even be more than 80 But, what's more important is how many of those guys actually show up to the game. So I think if Florida State, they get at least 50% of this list in on that for that game, the spring game, they'll be feeling pretty good with all the talent that's going to be in the stands.
Mm-hmm. And then off the podcast, we're going to talk some Florida State basketball. Obviously, we know Florida State lost to Michigan. Thought there might be some revenge. We were wrong. Kind of a disappointing game, but that was still a big run for Florida State and a team that that we kind of all were predicting this might have been the ceiling with Sweet 16 when we did our early predictions during the offseason. But we'll also talk about Nate Jack intending on transferring, and we're going to get some notes from Austin, what he's hearing on maybe some potential guys that plan on staying and some guys that may be leaving. So Austin's going to give us the full rundown on that. Before we get started, everybody can listen to this on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. The podcast is available on all those. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified whenever we release a new episode. We definitely appreciate all the new love over there on YouTube and you guys enjoying the videos there. We're throwing some snippets a few times a week, so you guys can go check out our YouTube at Noel Game Day. Let's jump into it real quick so we can get to this weekend and enjoy it. I got a 4-day weekend. Let's jump into it. Spring Scrimmage, Dustin. Your thoughts on that? We got there early once again. The team was out there, and there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of recruits, a lot more people at this one than the first one, Dustin. A lot more recruiting guys, a lot more coaches from high schools in attendance. Just a good time overall and some good weather.
Yeah, like you said, pretty decent crowd, but maybe the play on the field wasn't as good as what we saw in that first scrimmage because, when you get into spring practice, you don't really want to see one side of the ball just completely dominating the other. And that first spring scrimmage we were at, it felt like both sides were kind of going back and forth at each other. And then in this one, you go into it and there's only 2 offensive touchdowns in the entire scrimmage. One of them came on the very first drive that Jordan Travis led, and then the other one came on a drive by one of the walk-on quarterbacks. So it was a slow day for the offense. I mean, it was sloppy. I think I counted, at least 11 sacks surrendered. There were bad snaps multiple times. The quarterbacks and receivers, it seemed like they were having some trouble staying on the same page, kind of something that carried over a little bit from the first scrimmage. It was ugly out there. But, for the defense, it was a beautiful day. They dominated. The defensive line looked really good. I don't think off the top of my head that there was an interception, but the DBs played some great coverage, didn't give up a lot of catches. So there's some positives, there's some negatives, but we've still got, a week or so left in spring practice, spring game coming up, and then the whole summer to keep working out some of these kinks that we saw. So we'll just have to keep seeing.
Yeah, no, there's a lot, obviously, from the second scrimmage where I think the defense won the day. Like you said, that first drive was pretty successful for FSU, but once again, after that, the defense stood up. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication on that offensive line. Dustin, remember when Maurice Smith and was it Brady Scott? They were kind of going at each other on the sideline there because there was just too much miscommunication. Something wasn't going well. And the D line, definitely guys like we'll talk about them, Koshawn Fuller, Derek McLendon were getting back there with ease. It was just nothing for them.
Yeah, and Fabian Lovett, I mean, both scrimmages that we've been out there, he's just been a straight monster. And I mean, he continued that last Saturday and got through the middle of that offensive line multiple times. It didn't seem like the coaches were too happy with Dante Lucas on a couple plays just because Fabian Lovett beat him right across his face, got to the backfield, and either got a sack or a tackle for loss, depending on the play. So that offensive line, they've got some work to do, but I think we said it last week. They're still missing their best player, their most consistent player from a season ago, and Devontae Love Taylor, who's recovering from that injury he suffered back during the 2020 regular season. And Bavion Johnson has missed the 2 scrimmages that we've been at as well. And also Thomas Schrader, he went down with that leg injury. He's been out. So they're missing some depth and they're missing some experience. And, that equals more young guys getting reps. There were some walk-on offensive linemen in there getting reps. And you could tell there was a big drop-off from the first team to the second team.
What up, Los?
What's good, baby boy?
What's up? What's up, baby? How you doing?
Busy, dog. Life's moving real quick, man. CFL's trying to sneak up on you real fast. So got to get ready, man. Trying to take care of some things before I got to get up out of here. That's all.
Absolutely. Well, we're just practically discussing. Me and Dustin have gone to the last 2 spring scrimmages. We went to this last one that we're kind of discussing here, and just talking some spring scrimmages. You know, I don't remember if Jimbo back in his day, if he allowed access to spring scrimmages. I don't remember. Were they if they were in Doak? I don't remember being in there for Jimbo's spring scrimmages.
No, our scrimmages. I remember when I first got to state, our scrimmages were on field 2. We used to have 3 fields, and then when we got an indoor, we did most of our scrimmages indoor. I think we did one. No, I think we did a couple. I think 1 or 2 maybe came inside of Doak because we were putting the indoor in. And I think we did that during fall when he had fan day, and that was open practice. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like per se a scrimmage. You just did more team, type drills than we did anything else. It wasn't really split and stuff like that. We did more special teams as a team and stuff like that. But as far as what I heard from it, like you guys said, it was a big difference. You don't really want to hear that. You don't really want to see that, but I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to see a kind of drop off, and you can see where a difference and where improvement needs to be made. Seeing consistency early. Some people may hit their ceiling early. You kind of don't want to see that. You want to see a kind of guy go through some adversity, see him get better, see him improve, and see if he can improve. You kind of don't want to have a young guy that you see come in, get a lot of reps early, hit their ceiling, and this is all I'm going to get out of a kid. Do I have to develop somebody else, or have to find somebody else, or recruit somebody else? Especially if he's going to be on the roster for a couple of years. I heard a lot about the quarterback play. Jordan Travis played exceptionally well in both scrimmages. He got high praise from Norvell. McKenzie, some question marks after the second scrimmage, but I think that's okay. I remember we talked about it before spring even started, that Travis wasn't going to give it up easy. He was going to go and compete. He was going to play. He was going to get better. He had a year in the offense over McKenzie, and I think that gives him a heads up. I think he's maturing on and off the field, and I think that how the team responded to having McKenzie come in, I think that he wants to show that he can be a leader. He can grow. He can develop. He can be better than he was the year before, and I think that's showing early in the spring. But don't get me wrong, McKenzie's proven to be a winner. He's coming from a winning program where he's proven to be a national championship, quote unquote. So he's not afraid of adversity. So he's first really time learning this offense. I mean, you're gonna give this guy time. He has a whole summer, 7-on-7 to get it down, workouts, and then have an entire camp, a real camp, to get ready to go play football again. So it's going to be an open competition, but I like what Travis is displaying right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Norvell has kind of echoed, some of those comments that you just made in his press conferences. He said that Jordan Travis really seems like he's taking that next step. And, during the spring now, he's actually back to full health, where in the fall he was missing practice because of some of those injuries that he was suffering. So he's been participating in the entire spring practice. Norvell said he's bigger, faster, stronger. His accuracy on his throws is, taking that next step. Then you go over to McKenzie. I mean, this is a guy who, he suffered a really serious knee injury a couple years ago, hasn't been able to play a lot of football since then. And now he goes to a completely new team, into a new system. And he's learning how to work within that system, along with, the new faces that he's throwing the ball to each day. So he's still building up his chemistry. He's still getting comfortable with that leg and the guys around him. And I just think as time goes on and we move into the summer, they get to, organize some player run 7-on-7s and just keep building that comfortability within the offense. We're going to have a heck of a battle in fall camp between Milton and Travis.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you guys about the run game, since you guys were actually there. I read a lot about it. The walk-on Ward.
Mm-hmm.
He's Devontae Freeman, what he remind me of, the way he plays. He all that chip on the shoulder. I'm not gonna get that many looks. It is spring, so let me take advantage. And it seems like every time they talk about the run game, it's either little 9 or they talking about 38. They're not talking about 1. They're not talking about 0. I mean, they're not talking about the guys that you would consider be, the 1-2 punch coming into it. You see 9 coming in and getting some touches being a sophomore, but you don't see him getting that many. You know what I'm saying? You would just see how the roster would look. Mm-hmm. But you have this walk-on coming in who's every time he's touching it is opening eyes, and he's grabbing teammates' attention, and he's grabbing media attention, he's grabbing coaches' attention, and he's earning respect, and he's earning reps and carries. And that's something that not many people have seen in a while at Florida State or ever happened at Florida State. And that's really crazy. So how do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, Trayshawn Ward was, he was excellent in that first scrimmage. It really felt like he got the bulk of touches, and I mean, he capitalized on his opportunities. He had 3 touchdowns, I believe, and close to 200 yards on the ground, if we were counting correctly. And I think one of the reasons he got so many touches in that first scrimmage is just because Jashawn Corbin went down with just a minor injury really early on. And Corbin actually came back out this past Saturday, and I thought he was probably the most overall impressive running back. But that said, the offensive line play kind of made it hard to tell because the running backs just weren't getting as many holes as they were in that first scrimmage. But, I mean, yeah, Ward has really come on strong. He's been impressive, and he's earned his spot in that rotation, I think.
Yeah, that makes it really interesting because during the first scrimmage, me and Dustin were there kind of looking at each other like, what is going on here? What is going on? Because, Trayshawn took advantage, like Dustin said, of getting out there and getting some PT because Corbin was kind of dinged up at the beginning of the scrimmage, and I think DJ Williams didn't get to see a lot of burn out there.
DJ Williams got hurt too, I believe. I think he rolled an ankle.
Yeah, it was kind of early on. So, Trayshawn Ward was thrown out there quite a bit, and he really did take advantage of the opportunities. He was thrown out there a little bit against the first team defense, and man, he's hard to tackle. He has really good vision. And I like it because we were hearing things about him during the tour of duty, and I was like, okay, that, and we've heard about him last year too, but we just never got to see him play, or we didn't get to see it in person. But wow, I mean, whenever people are talking highly of him and you actually get to see it in person is something really impressive. And so, you've got 2 walk-ons right now that have a really good potential in being in a rotation, if not getting a lot of PT, like Preston Daniel, who was in a starting unit out there for majority of the scrimmage, right, Dustin? And then you've got Jashawn Ward. You got 2 walk-ons here that are impressing, and definitely Trayshawn, who's had a great spring scrimmage. So I'm all for it, man. Coming out of the blue and getting that running back competition going, I'm all for it, Los. Give me it. I mean, those are some talented guys back there, but if he's hungry enough, he gets that playbook down. Give it to me.
I don't care who touches it. I just want production. I mean, you had decent production, decent up and down throughout the year last year. I mean, the run game wasn't bad to me. Wasn't horrific last year. I mean, compared to what we had years before, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible. But I don't care who touches it. I just want somebody to touch it. It's going to be productive. It's going to run the ball downhill, and it's going to want the ball, point blank, period. You guys talked about some young receivers out there making plays. Who are those young receivers?
That's going to be Josh Burrell and McLean. Malik McLean.
Are these guys consistent?
McLean, I'll tell you right now, that kid, I don't know if he's in trouble or whatever it is, but he was out there having to work his tail off. He was out there, I swear, 90% of these scrimmages so far. This kid is out there on every snap, I swear. And he was out there with the starting unit on this last Saturday, along with Joshua Burrell. They had 2 freshmen out there with the starting unit. Keyshawn Helen was on the sideline along with, I don't know who else was out there, but I know the 2 freshmen were out there, and I know there was a lot of recruits there too. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Norvell and Dillingham and Dugans are kind of using this as a kind of a tool to say, hey, we got 2 freshmen in here, take a look at what's going on. But yeah, that'd be Burrell and McLean.
I mean, if they're making plays like what I'm saying and reading, they're making plays like that, then one, yes, it is a recruiting tool, because if I was a kid and I'm coming up here in spring where, it's just spring and these kids are getting reps, they're fresh out of high school. Like, I'm going back to class and they're going to get reps the next day. That's crazy. I'm going to want to come to a program like that. I want to graduate early in December and be doing that next spring. That's crazy. But also it's great that they're getting this experience too. My brother graduated early and got to Florida State early when he enrolled at Florida State. He got to jump on the game and he played all the way through. So I mean, it's a great experience for them. I'm happy that they get this for them. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Don't you think, Dustin, looking at Burrell, he looks like he's been here for 2 years already? I mean, both wide receivers are impressive, but I mean, Burrell is a different kind of type. He's bigger than Brian Robinson, and
yeah, he's got a bigger frame. He's got strong hands. He runs good routes. But I just want to see the consistency because Malik McClain, he was, I would say, the best receiver overall in that first scrimmage. And then this past Saturday, I personally don't remember him getting a catch or making a big play.
There was a drop in the end zone. It was a drop from Roadmaker.
Would you guys think that's a bad thing if these young guys are the best receivers on our team?
I don't think it says anything great for the veterans.
Because I kid you not, what scares me about Florida State in the recent years is and I'm probably because I've been spoiled because I got to play with Rashad Green, Kenny Shaw. I got to play with Rodney Smith. KB. I haven't, it's been a while since I've been at Florida State and heard like a dominant receiving room. Like you got multiple heads that's just out there attacking the ball and it's just been a while. And in the scrimmages you hear about these, like you guys are talking about these young guys are making plays and they're getting a lot of reps and they're being used as recruiting tools, quote unquote. There's no old guys doing that. There's no seniors that's coming back to, win a Blitnikoff. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no veteran leadership in that room, and it's haven't been there for a while. Like, what is that really a bad sign? Like, how do you guys view that?
Some of the older guys, Ontario Wilson, Keyshawn Helton, Jordan Young, who missed the second scrimmage on Saturday, they've made some plays. They've had some flashes, but it's few and far between, it feels like. And I mean, same with the young guys. They flash, but it's not every single down. And at the same time, there's a lot of quarterback and wide receiver miscommunications, whether it's the quarterback throwing the ball to the wrong spot or the receiver running a wrong route. And yeah, I would say that's a little worrying that you don't really have a go-to type guy out wide yet. And you're really hoping this summer, two of those guys are going to come in and Destin Hill and Andrew Parchment, the transfer from Kansas. So this is a group, they've got a lot of talent, but they've got to be able to put it together. I mean, right now this feels like it's a by committee group instead of one guy.
Like, think about what you just said. Like, the kid Hill. Like, you're expecting this freshman to come in and make that big of an impact. Like,
that worries me.
I don't know how it was for Rashad, but man, if they expected Rashad to come in and play, that's how he came in and played. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I hope he comes in. I hope that's the conversation that's being had with him, because the expectation in that room is not very high for me. If young guys like that are making plays, and I'm not saying that they're not capable of being a Rashad Green, but I haven't seen another Rashad Green since Rashad Green been at Florida State. You know what I'm saying? There's only one Peter Wark. Like, Rashad Green holds records at Florida State. If these guys are going to be there on that level, then I'm not putting it to that ceiling, because I just haven't seen that talent level. It's just something different. But having that expectation of a young freshman coming in and playing that well, that's just, I haven't seen it since, 80 walked in that room. And as a freshman, he balled out. I mean, he played lights out the entire year. So like I said before, that expectation for that room isn't high. I hope that it dominates. I hope it surprises me and a lot of fans. But if I'm a fan, and I know people are watching the scrimmage, people are reading message boards, people are viewing it, it's just not a strong room. And even in spring, you would want to see the veterans making the most consistent plays. You want to see the guys that have been here the longest, fighting through injuries like Young, and just actually finally hitting the field and being most consistent. And it's just not encouraging hearing that this is young guys. It is because it's young guys, but it's not because the veterans should be doing it by now.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I was going to bring up
very, very bittersweet.
Mm-hmm. I was going to bring up some winners here from the spring so far that we've seen, Dustin. We can discuss, but at least going back to Los and all of us on here, and Nate we've harped on this defensive line. Definitely, your two guys who had Kando and J. Rob. The pass rush had been lacking. Definitely, it was a really disappointing year on that front. But These last two scrimmages, I've been pretty impressed, not only from the starters there, but the backups, like Quashon Fuller, who had a big day on Saturday. I thought he looked impressive. He looks so much better in shape, and he was getting all over the place. He had a big hit. He had, 2 or 3 sacks, a couple QB hurries. And then also Derek McGlendon, I think, has been impressive because we haven't seen Keir Thomas play yet. He hasn't been available in both scrimmages. So a lot of these guys are getting some extra work in there. We've seen Griffiths get in there too. But, the two guys to me that have impressed me on those pass rushes have been Derek McGlendon. I mean, he was just kind of bullying at this point on Saturday, D-Lou. I mean, it was just kind of bully central. Who was he going against on that left tackle? I forget who that was.
I believe it was Darius Washington.
Was it Washington? Yeah. I believe it was Darius too. And then, like I said, Quashon, like I said, in shape, quick, fast, which is maybe some promising signs there for the guys that, got a little signs of Derek McGlendon last year. Not a whole lot of consistency with Quashon Fuller, but at least it's maybe some promise there where we're seeing some energy under him and coming in. And you've only been in spring for a few weeks now. Could be positive to look at.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even really think it's his physical evolution that's, making him have more success in these scrimmages that we've seen. In my opinion, his footwork looks a lot better. I mean, we watched him pursue a running back from the backside. I mean, he didn't waste any steps getting there. He was there before the running back crossed the line of scrimmage and collided along with him with another defender. I mean, the same thing on his pass rush. He's not wasting steps. He's really explosive. He's getting either right through the offensive tackle or right around them. He's been really good. And like you said, with McGlendon, he's been good as well. Jermaine Johnson has had some good battles with Robert Scott over there on that right side. So the defensive line, and I mentioned Fabian Lovett in the middle. I mean, he's been a monster. There's a lot to like on that D line right now.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm trying to think, we haven't heard, but we've been there and seen, nothing too crazy from Cooper. I mean, he kind of eats up, sometimes 2 blockers, but like you said, Fabian Lovett has been a big one. Are you number 11? Are we, that's just something maybe hasn't stood out as much. I mean, is a transfer coming in, but really hasn't, we're talking Jermaine Johnson here. Is that, I don't remember much of anything. I mean, he's made some plays here and there, but nothing too kind of out like crazy, like on the level of McGlendon and Fuller.
Can I be honest with y'all? Like, I did. This is gonna sound super corny to a lot of people. You guys watched Last Chance U, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you really see him or hear about him making a lot of plays?
I don't even remember, man.
Yeah, you get. I'm being honest though. I'm just being honest. Like, you watch a series and you're supposed to have these top guys at the school, and the camera's gonna follow the guys that's making the plays, the guys that's entertaining. So I'm saying maybe he's a sleeping giant. Maybe he's just a consistent guy. Maybe he's the guy that's gonna make the consistent play. He's gonna do the right alignment, assignment, and technique. He's not the splash guy that we're looking for. Know what I'm saying? And maybe that's something that we need at that position. Maybe we don't need, J-Rob to make 1,000 splashes like we wanted him to. Maybe we needed J-Rob to just squeeze tight down on the boot, tight reverse. And like, maybe we need him to do stuff on that, like that. Like maybe we need more consistency at that position. And that's something we haven't had in a long time. So maybe he's that guy. He's not a big splash guy. But 5'5", he may be the splash side guy. He may be that guy. He comes with that energy. He plays with that attitude. So I'm happy he's getting reps. I'm cool with that. 5'5" can get all the reps he can get.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, Los, one thing that I thought the defensive ends were really bad with last year was containing the edge. I mean, it seemed like whenever the other offense wanted to, they either had an outside run, get by the defensive ends, or the quarterback would scramble out of the pocket, find 10, 15 yards on the outside. The edge is something that Jermaine Johnson never gives up. I mean, he's either getting a sack off the edge, he's sitting there with his man. We saw it a couple times. It was either Travis or McKenzie. I mean, either one. Whenever they tried to roll out right, Jermaine Johnson was always right there, putting pressure on him, making them have to force a throw into traffic on the run. Outside arm free.
Outside arm free. That's what it's called. I mean, it's so crazy, and people think it's like it's a choke technique. I was always taught when I play outside linebacker, or I'm coming down playing a run, I turn everything back inside. Wrong shoulder, boom. Shoulder, turn everything back inside. Keep my outside arm free so I can make the play if they go outside. That's something that's easy. I've never seen 11 do that. I mean, 13 did a good job of it last year. I mean, he was more disciplined. I think he less physically gifted, but I think he was more disciplined. Like, I think he was a better student of the game than Robinson. But as far as talent-wise, Robinson should have been an animal. And I think that's where 11's going to bring just not the physicality, but being a better student of the game, understanding how to play the game of football when it comes to quarterback runs or having the boot coming towards you or turning things back towards the defense because you are setting the edge.
There was a YouTube comment in here from Tyler saying, talking about the JUCO thing for Jermaine Johnson and the show. He says he doesn't buy it. He was a number one JUCO player coming out of his class.
I'm not saying that he wasn't like a dominant player. I'm just saying when you watch stuff like that, fans, I'm not talking about me personally, but people would think that, hey, you want splash and splash and splash. And you're not reading articles where you're seeing him saying, well, he's, batting balls down or he's off the, like, you're not seeing that crazy. When you get a guy coming from JUCO, like he went straight to Georgia, he's matured more than a lot of guys coming fresh out of high school. So he's coming into also a recruiting class as well. Like we had Tank Carradine and Farrancruz come in. Tank Carradine was a grown man coming into our recruiting class. You get what I'm, see what I'm saying? So you would see like that monster man versus child mentality. You don't really see a lot of it. You see more consistent play, more mature. I know the game of football, consistent play. It's not that he's more of a, longevity professional, not a splash guy every once in a while kind of player, in my opinion.
I want to note on one last thing before we move on. I was going to note on Tate Rodemaker, D-Lou here, and also Chubba Purdy. So the last two scrimmages, we didn't really note on the second scrimmage, but once again, we don't see Chubba Purdy on the sideline. We've seen Damori Tate. We've seen Brownlee and Emmett Rice. They be injured, but still be there on the sideline. I mean, Damori Tate's scooting around on a little scooter right now while he's dealing with his rehab, but we have not seen quarterback Chubba Purdy in attendance to these scrimmages. And, Tate Rodemaker's out there. He's gotten the most burn out of all of the quarterbacks during these practices. And what I'm thinking under what Norvell's doing is, right now you're looking for definitely a backup. And, we've heard some good things about Tate Rodemaker and getting his mind right. There's some things that was maybe hindering him more just kind of in the head than anything last year, but we've seen a solid kind of couple scrimmages from him, nothing spectacular, but you see the talent that he has and why Norvell liked having him and bringing him into that class. But, I was just going to discuss, the situation right now, Tate Rodemaker and Chubba Purdy, it's kind of flipped. It's kind of flipped on us right in front of our eyes where, Tate Rodemaker's out here on the field. And I don't know the next time we're going to see Chubba Purdy out there. We don't even know if he's in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all right there. Tate Rodemaker, he's, really done well. At least in the first scrimmage, he did well. He threw a couple touchdown passes. In this past scrimmage, it was really harder to get a gauge on the quarterback play just because I mentioned earlier the offensive line gave up, at least 11 sacks from what I counted, and there were 5 or 6 bad snaps that, resulted in fumbles right away. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all, Logan. I don't have a lot to add there.
I just think it's something interesting that we'll have to continue to keep an eye on. At least given some positives here for Tate Rodemaker. There's been some pretty nice throws, definitely with the younger wide receivers. I know. Remember the Jordan Young.
I gotta interrupt you. These reps he's getting are going to equate to what?
Experience out there. He's been playing against the first team defense a few times.
For QB1 or the backup?
No. Backup. Yeah.
So if McKenzie's the starter, where's Jordan? Where's Travis?
Whoa. Right now, for me, let's just put it right here.
I'm asking a question. So what if it's flipped? Either way, if one of those two is the starter, where's the other one going to go? He's not going to stay to be the backup. He's not going to continue to compete.
No, for right now, Tate Rodemaker is
number 3.
I might be going crazy here.
I mean,
not with the bad.
Look, I will say that Tate Rodemaker has, and it's been against the second and third team defenses. So let's lay that out on the table. But he's been more impressive than Mackenzie Milton so far. Putting the ball in the air, in my opinion.
Who's getting more reps right now?
Rodemaker's gotten more reps than anybody.
Than anybody. Okay.
Than any quarterback. Don't give me that face.
It's a good conversation. It's a good conversation. It's a good debate.
What I'm saying is he's getting who's getting the least amount of reps?
The price, Milton? Probably Milton.
Okay.
It's not like a huge difference between Jordan Travis and Milton, but I'd say Milton by a little bit. Yeah.
So the buddy with no game experience is getting hella reps, right? But the two cats that's got the most game experience are getting about equal reps. Those two are battling for your number 1 and number 2. Roadmaker, you're getting hella reps because we don't have Purdy. Like there's no other person to get reps. You're gonna get hella reps. Like that. Okay, like you got 4 quarterbacks. You split 1s and 3s and 2s and 4s. There is no 1s and 3s and 2s and 4s. There is you guys and Tate. That's it. What do you mean? Where the reps gonna go?
Yeah, Gino in there.
You don't know, you got to tell him who Gino is.
Walk-on quarterback.
I'm looking dead at you. Dustin, I'm looking at your screen so hard right now. I'm looking at your little box on my phone.
Hey,
right
Gino.
now.
Gino was one of 2 quarterbacks to throw a touchdown pass on Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
Against the walk-on defense.
It was a good ball too.
He did have a great ball though in the corner.
This? You see, don't be Nate. Don't be Nate. Don't be Nate. Don't be Nate. But what I'm saying is though, and I'm from me.
Yeah.
That's if those two veteran guys are getting an equal amount of reps, they're competing. They're going back and forth. Tate may see a lot of reps, and don't get me wrong, they're quality reps. I hope they're quality reps. I hope he's proven. I hope he jumps Purdy. I mean, you hurt. You can't be on the field. That's act of God. Can't help that, bro. Power to you. Don't be hurt. Like I can't help that. Next man up. Don't be hurt. Are we not recruiting one of the best quarterbacks in 2022? Like, are we not recruiting more quarterback? I mean, don't be hurt. That's not my fault. This kid's gonna get reps. He's gonna get better. He's gonna develop. But I don't think he's developing for the number 1 or 2 spot. I don't think he's developed. I think he's getting reps to get better. He's gonna mature. I think this kid. I hope he stays and end up being more like a Coker, where he learns the game. He becomes a true leader of a team. He coaches the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like he watches Norvell coaches a team. He becomes a part of that. And on his way out, he's able to leave with growing as a person, as a player, and part of a winning culture and changing a winning culture. We just lost Coker at the end with Florida State, and he ended up going to Bama. I wish he could have stayed and won with us. That would have been awesome. I mean, they had Jameis. Yeah. I mean, that was bad. But I mean, I just don't think his reps are going towards those 2 positions. I mean, I'm happy he's getting them. I'm happy that Dustin's pronouncing his name right. Logan's still pronouncing it wrong. But I just don't think he's getting. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy he's getting them. They're quality. I'm happy he's performing well. I'm happy he's getting a lot of praise. But I just don't think it's not going to be towards number 1 and number 2 spot.
That's actually, you brought up a good point there, Karlos, because I had Miss Rodemaker, I need to say, DM me because I announced his last name wrong. I announced the family's name wrong. So Mama Rodemaker came after me. So shout out to her. I'm going to change that from now on. I don't want to sound like Dustin out here. I don't want to sound like Dustin out here saying Odell Haggins. I don't want to get to that point. I don't ever want to get to that point. Did you ever hear that, Los? That's what he calls Odell Haggins.
You call him, bro.
Hey, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. I'm not really good with names.
You don't mispronounce Polk County. You don't be mispronounce people's name like that. You don't do that.
All right, I'll make sure to say Haggins from now on. How about that?
I will tell you,
Karlos Williams.
For the people that listen, we do pay attention though. We are very active. We are a very active group on our social media outlets. We do care about how we pronounce and how we speak about the people we represent. So we do love our Noles dearly. We want to just apologize for mispronouncing your family's name.
That's why whenever Tenor Ngom got to Tallahassee, I was asking Austin for 3 months. I was like, man, you got to help me pronounce this right. The dude on the basketball team, Tenor Ngom.
Number 34.
Yeah. You know,
Am I saying it right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
I will say, other sports
Practice
like
makes
have
perfect.
the most unique names. Track and field, basketball, tennis. They have some really unique names, man. Like you guys get really a lot more international athletes. We don't.
How long did it take us last year to learn Dom's name? I bet it was half the season.
Man.
Who?
The number 15, the center that was there for 1 year, Dominic Olenichuk.
Yeah.
It took us forever.
Oh, we used to love Ojo.
Ojo's easy.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah, we used to love that. We call him Big Mike.
Yeah.
Like
Big O.
It's easy. Ojo. Yeah. Big O. It's 3 letters.
We just call him Big Fella.
Bro, his shoes be so huge. Like we used to go to study hall. Hey, let me put my foot up next to your foot. I'm like, your foot's bigger than Shaq's foot.
It was pretty close.
Like it's huge. Like there's no way.
I think Shaq's had 22 WE and then Ojo was like 21. I think that's what it was. Either 20 or 21.
Way.
That's
you know how
crazy.
big that, bro? Like that's custom made shoe every time.
Yeah, you heard about that story, right? Where Nike had to build their own custom machine just for Ojo's foot.
I got a question. I wonder, who's making his J's?
Oh, he didn't wear J's. He wore 2 shoes the entire year. It was a garnet pair and a black pair. And
I'm talking about a social pair of shoes.
Those were his social shoes. I loved Ojo, but he wore 2 pairs of shoes.
No way.
Makes
Where do you
sense,
get the
though.
flip flops at?
I have no idea.
They're making them.
That's boat shoes, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make those out of canoes.
Yeah, he beat that garnet pair that he got his first year to the ground. The soul.
Bro, it's crazy. He was one of the best spirits I've ever been around. Like people, what? Like you would think like his approach to the game of basketball. You watch him play. He wasn't super monstrous aggressive. He had some finesse to him. And then when you seen him off the court, just the sweetest guy you ever meet in your life. Like just the kindest guy you meet in your life. It's so he's gone too early, man. He's gone way too early.
Way too early, man.
Let's see. Doak Campbell renovations, Los. I don't know if you saw the news today, but
Yeah, today is also April Fool's.
That's what I was thinking. I don't understand
legit, though.
Well, what's the PR with Roy Williams announcing his retirement?
Yeah,
like, what a terrible idea to do that. Like, what kind of PR is doing that? Because you're not going to get enough engagement. Nobody's going to share it a lot on Facebook and all that. Like, that's terrible PR in my opinion. I'll never announce anything on April 1st.
We'll get to Roy later.
I was looking at it this morning, and it like everyone commented on it was just like fake.
Oh no, we put out an Instagram post about the Doak Campbell Stadium.
So the renovations is real.
Yes. It's actually real. I'll read off the little thing real quick. Let me read off for the people that don't know about it yet. But supposedly, you got Michael Alford in here that is, new to Florida State, running the boosters. He's very well respected in his previous stops with some big time schools, also in the NFL, including the Dallas Cowboys. Put out a statement today. Florida State is intending on looking at some renovations to Doak Campbell Stadium. They're hoping that it'll be finished entirely between November of 2023 and August of 2024. It looks a lot like if anybody's been to the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, it looks about exactly like that. I know there was some renovations of kind of having a Champions Club on the opposite side of Doak Campbell Stadium. Other than that, this really looks like the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium here, with having some club seating in here. I know some people were kind of getting mad inside of our Discord about losing 10,000 seats, but
they were furious.
Yeah, they were ticked off that there would be 10,000 seats lost. But like Dustin said in there to a few of them, right now Florida State hasn't had a full stack stadium than maybe 2018 with the opener against Virginia Tech.
I don't even know if that sold out. Honestly,
I think it did.
It's got to be close to it. I know the
it was
Boise
close,
State game,
but I don't know if they did.
That's the most packed we've seen it in a long time, at least.
But yeah, in this premium club for fans, you'll be able to come down to the field level club and stand on the railing right behind the FSU bench area during games, providing a different in-game experience. So this is exactly, I've been to the club level a couple times. Shout out to our guy, Forrest, who was over there doing the ticketing for the Jaguars. He would always hook it up to where, we'd be in the club area, and it still looks about identical to the Jaguars stadium. So if anybody, I know we got some Jags listeners here, this is practically about the same as that from what I'm picturing here. So interesting.
You done? Are you
what do
done?
you don't want no Doak renovations? What?
Are you done?
You don't want no Doak renovations?
Bro, do you know what Doak is right now? Doak is the largest standing brick building in the world. The only other largest brick like stature thing, whatever it is around, is the Great Wall of China. And you want to touch it and ruin it?
Whoa,
you want to let's see. I don't care about
this is getting rid of those bleachers.
I don't care about you keep.
They ain't messing with the outside.
You ain't won nothing. Don't change nothing.
They're not messing with the outside. They're messing with the inside.
Y'all want to mess y'all? Okay.
We'll leave the bricks for you, Los.
And that's gonna do what?
But I need a chair back.
Los, I know you were doing. Yeah, Los, I know you were doing stadiums on those bleachers. I know you probably want to see those again. I know you were getting into some bleacher work after some practices. I know you were doing some
my thing is this, though. I understand why we're doing it. Don't get me wrong. This is going to sound really bad. We don't deserve it. We don't. I'm sorry. Listeners, fans, friends.
Can I quote you on that and tweet it?
We don't deserve this shit, man. We ain't won nothing. We ain't caught nothing. We ain't scored nothing. We ain't kicked nothing. We ain't done nothing.
Hey, well, the good thing is that the renovations are planned for 2024. So hopefully they do something before then.
Man, hey, I want to thank everybody that's looking forward to this upcoming season, because like I am, because I really do believe what Norvell is doing. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe we deserve it, but the simple fact that everybody is behind Coach Norvell and they're looking forward to the future, like that's a long way away. But the simple fact that you guys are wanting to make these things happen, and I'm talking to the family and friends and all the Noel fans around the country that listen, to all our listeners, like you guys have this faith, and we haven't had this kind of faith in this kind of, movement in a while. And it's really, really good to hear. As guys, we create a podcast to really generate some good love for our beloved Noles. It's really, really, really is a lot of love out there. And for the boosters who's thinking about the Noles' future, this is a big shout out and thank you to you guys.
Whoa, what's going on here? What's going on here?
Wild Nate has appeared.
What's going on here?
What's up?
Wow.
Uh-oh. We haven't had the full squad in a month. What's going on here?
Yeah, man, I'm dog tired, man. I just got home.
Hey, well, here we'll wake you up. Karlos said that no renovation should happen to Doak. FSU doesn't deserve it. Do you agree on this?
No, I think they need to.
Here we go.
to stay with the Jimmies and Joes, man. I mean,
wow. So all about the optics.
What exactly, man?
The recruiting guy.
Here we go.
While I think that
our recruiting insider.
While I think that Doak is a beautiful stadium, I think that it could use a facelift here and there. Why not?
The basketball team could get it something.
Why not?
I think our wins and losses column need a facelift before in stadium days.
I think those wins and losses are impacted at that Champions Club. I think when them W's come back, that Champions Club is where you'll see the difference.
Okay. I mean, you're projecting these nice. We're gonna look like what the Jaguar Stadium. I mean, something like the Jaguar Stadium.
That's a shithole.
Are we gonna put a pool inside of Doak? What did Logan say? We're gonna put a pool. Might put a pool up there, like the Jaguar Stadium inside of Doak.
Honestly, that'd be nice. Nothing's worse than a noon game in September in Doak. Put a pool in there. Make it look.
Let's draw the recruits in, man. Let's draw them all in, man.
Karlos,
draw the number ones in. Why don't you, Nate?
Karlos, you went to Florida State. You know dang well that a pool inside Doak would be exquisite.
How many games you win?
It would be exquisite.
How many? Okay? Let's just.
I'm talking about the idea of a pool.
First, laughs and giggles. How many games is 2013 winning with a pool and we going undefeated inside of Doak Campbell. How many games we winning?
Imagine the scenery. you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'll take a little pool action.
Imagine a pool and the scenery.
I can hear Jimbo. I can hear Jimbo now. Get it out of here. Get it. Hey, shut it down.
Stop looking at them skanks at the pool.
Where's the cement? Fill it in. It's game over. It's game over. It would never succeed.
Oh man,
never succeed.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they're going to be doing.
Tell you what, the main renovation I want to see. Go ahead, Lowe's.
This is what I was thinking. I understand. I do appreciate. Like I appreciate the big new game room they had up there. Yeah, I talk about it because I'm butthurt. I didn't get to enjoy it for when I was there. I mean, the new expansion they're doing inside the indoor is going to be amazing. A little butthurt. I think we deserved it, but I'm happy that somebody's going to reap the benefits. Like my high school is getting renovated. I'm happy for them because I went 8-2. I'm the only team that ever touched the playoffs there. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm happy somebody's reaping the benefits of the guys that paved the way. Because without the Hall of Famers that played before me, we wouldn't have had the stadium that Doak is now today. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like, wow, it's moving fast for a team's record that's not going up in the right direction.
Maybe they're back to being all in, you know?
I don't see Florida coming out with no new renovations to Ben Hill Griffin, and I've seen them appear in the SEC championship more frequently than we have in the ACC championship.
I think that's a benefit of being in a really crap ass conference that's top heavy. Come on now, I mean,
true point.
Their stadium.
Plus, it's Gainesville.
Yeah, that stadium.
That stadium is past a facelift. That thing needs to be bulldozed.
Yeah,
it needs to be bulldozed and removed from the history of the state of Florida.
And I mean, I would point to a school like Alabama, who has, continually been doing stadium renovations. Correct. I believe they're even adding in a new video board.
LSU,
and
Clemson.
they're going to be reducing their capacity.
All three recent national champions.
Hey, Florida State won a national championship recently.
Extremely recent national champions.
It wasn't that long ago, Lowe's. Come on, you got the ring on your finger right now, right?
That's my wedding ring. That ring is put away safely and it's cleaned every now and then. It's kissed and cleaned and put back safe so it can be looked at and gazed upon and remembered at the good old days.
That's what I love to hear. All right, let's jump into some recruiting here before we get to some basketball. Glad Nate's here too. But Dustin, you run us through what's going on here because we kind of hit on it before we started. But Florida State has a big list incoming to the spring game.
Dustin's not the only one that's put our list together.
So, hold on.
Nate.
Hey, before y'all go over this list, this kid Hunter is something like it's like a video game. It's like you remember when the Devin Hester was like 100 speed for the first time ever in Madden.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this kid, like these past month, it's been watching Devin Hester be like 100 speed on Madden. It's been like watching when you first played NCAA and Chris Johnson was 99 speed from Eastern Carolina. Mm-hmm. And it was ridiculous. He's been an absolute monster. And the simple fact that it feels like when I was getting recruited, how other recruits are going to get top recruits, that's been amazing to see. And we haven't seen that in a while at Florida State where other recruits are recruiting the best of the best to come compete and come play and come to play with. That's been pretty cool.
I like how James Coleman said it, like it's just different. Like Derwin will go out there and dominate, but like this kid's even more like different than Derwin.
Yeah.
Like he's just different. Like
yeah,
he goes out and dominates elite kids.
Yeah.
And it's not just short, like in shorts. It's he puts the pads on, he's just as dominant.
Yes.
Like he's just he's a possible once in a lifetime guy at Florida State, God forbid anything that happens, his trajectory is going to be amongst
how many years did Crow play? Crow played 1.5 years.
Started 2 games, like very minimal.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I kid you not. I hope he wins us conference championship, a national championship. I hope he wins us a a college football championship. But I hope he is a lovely. I hope he's the coolest breeze that the Tallahassee's ever witnessed in the world. You get what I'm saying? I hope he comes through there smooth and cool and sails right through there and comes and graces us with the best presence we've ever felt. But I hope he's not there for very long because like you said,
that means something went bad if he's there for 4 years.
Yes, absolutely. If he's there for 3 years, like 2.5, I'm sitting out like 6 games. I'm done, coach. I'm good on that. Like, because I've never seen, and I'm good. I was great at 707. We had great 707 teams. I played on plenty of them. Gridiron Kings was probably single-handedly one of the best collective group of defensive backs in a recruiting class ever. And this kid single-handedly was better than all of us. He made every play we made by himself on his team. I've never seen it. And his size to go with it is ridiculous.
No, what gets me is just how effortless it is, and it's like consistent. It's not like flash in the pan. You know, something you see on like Sports Center Top 10. It's every single time he plays.
Everywhere he goes. Double coverage, triple coverage.
I love the smack talk. You know, like that kid is supremely confident in everything he does.
Yeah, I love his celebration too.
It's the way he carries himself. It's the way he carries himself. He carries himself with the confidence that he plays with.
And that's that's why I think he's a pretty damn good recruiter. These guys are feeding off him.
Yeah. If the best guy in the country wants me to come play with him, then he got to know I can come play with him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, and honestly, if I'm a recruit, if I'm a kid, a lot of kids like to hear that. A lot of kids want to hear that. It's not a coach telling me this. It's a guy that they're recruiting. This the number one recruit in the country, number one player in this position. He wants me to come play with him. It's not just the coach telling me, but he's telling me to come compete and come play and come join him. Why not?
Mm-hmm. I think we have a TV. I don't know. I tried texting the group chat, but we got a TV that might be going on in the background that might be coming through. But yeah, let's run through this real quick. Our multiple recruits, we actually got this talk with one of them, Florida State quarterback commit Nico Marchio actually came up and said what's up while he was in attendance with his family. Along with that, we actually got to speak with Raymond Cottrell in the 2023 class, along with Zakaya Saez. God, I hope I didn't ruin his last name, but a really good, these kids that we got to talk to, man. Saez. But definitely these three that we were able to talk to.
But again, I'm not the guy to take name pronunciation from. So
that is right. That is right. Odell Higgins kind of has been here for how long, and it's played at Florida State for this long, and still Higgins. Anyways,
I got hit in the head a lot growing up, so I'll attribute it to that.
Yeah, run us through our weekend, being able to spend some time with these guys.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of guys were in Tallahassee this last Saturday to check out the second spring scrimmage. Some of the ones that we noticed and were able to talk to for a couple minutes, I think did you go over that entire list right there, or just a couple of them?
I went through a couple of them.
Yeah, so we talked to Nico, Raymond Cottrell, and Zakai at the scrimmage, and then I was able to catch up and do some updates with Jalen Johnson, was actually offered by the staff on his drive home from the scrimmage, and Kanaya Charlton, one of the higher priority targets on the offensive line in the Tribe 2022 class. And then Devin Smith, another guy that Florida State is showing a lot of interest in, and, he could be a member of this class moving forward. And basically all of them were very impressed by what they got to witness. They were each watching, different staff members, their respective position group coach. And, I heard a lot of good things from all of these guys. And, you can go to NoleGameDay.com, check out some of these updates. And Kanaya, Devin, and Nico will actually be back on April 10th for that spring game to get another look at Florida State. And it wouldn't surprise me if, Charlton goes ahead and makes his commitment official within the next couple months. I don't know if it's going to happen during the spring game, but I think it happens before July.
What do you think about this list so far, Nate? And I know you and D-Lou have been putting in some work on this, but this is a pretty big group coming in and visiting. I think, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, 8 of them, 9 of them, 10 of them, 11 of them, 12 of them, 13 of them, 14 of them, 15 of them, 16 of them, 17 of them, 18 of them, 19 of them, 20 of them, 21 of them, 22 of them, 23 of them, 24 of them, 25 of them, 26 of them, 27 of them, 28 of them, 29 of them, 30 of them, 31 of them, 32 of them, 33 of them, 34 of them, 35 of them, 36 of them, 37 of them, 38 of them, 39 of them, 40 of them, 41 of them, 42 of them, 43 of them, 44 of them, 45 of them, 46 of them, 47 of them, 48 of them, 49 of them, 50 of them, 51 of them, 52 of them, 53 of them, 54 of them, 55 of them, 56 of them, 57 of them, 58 of them, 59 of them, 60 of them, 61 of them, 62 of We learned, I believe, from 247 Sports over there from Zach Blostein that a 5 stars coming in defensive tackle is going to intend on visiting. I think those are just about an hour and a half ago. But Florida State has 3 quarterbacks, and of course, Nico Marco already committed. But you've got AJ Duffy and MJ Morris, which we've had here on Hear the Spirit. And the thing with MJ Morris, he was telling us that he wants to commit by May, and he's going to be in town here next weekend for the spring games. So this kind of timetable is something to keep an eye on, in my opinion.
They also have what's developing as their top 23 guy, Tyreek Johnson. So, I mean, the quarterback's position is going to be loaded on who's visiting. Even if half these kids visit, it's still going to be a damn good visit list. And, I've talked about it before on this podcast. It is like, go back pre-COVID to the guys that Florida State was getting on campus. It's what we're seeing now that are coming to the spring game. They had quite a bit of top tier guys that were either set to come to Florida State right before COVID hit for spring practices and whatnot, and guys who had already visited. That list was really, really good. So it doesn't surprise me that Florida State's able to get these guys in town to visit. It just shows, I think, continues to this whole belief that this staff can't recruit. It kind of continues to put the kibosh on that. So the 23 class is just as good of guys who are visiting.
I think it's better.
Yep. I think if you look at the defensive backs that are coming, it's just ridiculous. You look at Hunter, you look at Sam McCall, you look at guys like Mitchell who's coming, you guys McLean, top tier 2023 kids. It's ridiculous, man. Like it's bodes well.
Yeah,
and across the board, if they can get like a Kevin Coleman to visit, forget it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you get your top 3, quarterback options that you're chasing after in that 2022 class. They're all going to be there in attendance, and AJ Duffy has even pushed his announcement back now, so we'll see what happens with that. You get 2 of your top running back targets coming in, and Jalen Glover and Amari Alston both are expected to be in attendance. And I don't want to go too much into the list because we've got this on Patreon. You can sign up and check out the full list, patreon.com/NoleGameDay. But right now, I think I said it earlier in the show, we're up to around 70 something names, low 70s, and there's 9 more days until the spring game. I just expect that to continue to rise, and of course they're not all going to make it in. Stuff is going to come up, but like you said, Nate, you get 50% of that list in, you're feeling really good about the talent that's in the stands for that game, and you're just building that momentum for when the dead period ends in June. You're going to have a bunch of other guys come back and actually be able to speak with the coaches and everything in person. This is just kind of the warm-up.
Yeah, I think looking at the list real quick, what pops out is getting Quincy McAdoo to come. I think that's important. A guy that the staff has been high on and got him to commit early. I think getting him with his parents or his mom coming, I think that's good for them to kind of hold off Arkansas. You look at, we talked about the defensive backs, getting Trey Donaldson, a local guy who I think is a really good safety. It is not far off talent-wise than a Terrion Arnold. Getting him in to visit, I think, is really good. And it's Tyler Jefferson. I mean, it's a 2023 quarterback. Brandon Innes, who I think is an elite wide receiver. He would start right now at Florida State. Getting him to possibly visit is awesome. You look at the offensive line for 2023, the defensive line. I mean, it's elite guys.
Playmakers everywhere. I mean, yes. Florida State is expecting every current commitment right now from 2022, 2023, and 2024 to be at that game. We're working on confirming with the last couple guys.
So you're looking at Tony Mitchell. You're looking at Ryan Robinson, Avian Terrell, all top flight guys. And then, I was trading texts back and forth with Cormani McLean, who's talking about coming. He's just a newly minted 5-star. It's really, really crazy the talent they're getting. Javon Brown, the number 1 linebacker, is coming. So they get, it's clear that there's buy-in from these recruits. So, I would not be surprised to see some commitments happen this weekend. I'd expect it to happen.
Next weekend.
Yeah, whatever.
I had to do it. Just
my brain's fried.
I was about to say you had a long day. I just had to do it just so people are like, well, what happened? Nate told us this weekend something's going on. What's going on? We'll get 20 messages on Discord. But yeah, no, big weekend. We intend on being there. Nate, do you plan on coming to the spring game? Have you figured that out yet? Or
not now, not after the news with work that dropped.
Yeah, I was gonna say after today, I don't know.
I don't even know if I'll be in Orlando right now.
Whoa.
So
that would suck.
Yeah.
That would stink.
Yeah. I'm planning on it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of work for me to do that day then, huh?
But yeah, shout out to Kenny Shaw, man. I think he just released his wide receiver unit that's going to be there. Holy sweet Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know if you're a recruit and if you haven't signed up for Kenny Shaw's camp. He was on here with us a few weeks ago. Great guy. He's been on here a few times. But I mean, this camp, I haven't seen anything like this. We've already talked about the stars, like Jameis, Dak Prescott will be there. Sammy Watkins will be in attendance, Super Bowl champion. Gabriel Davis, Nico Leary, Rashad Green, Kelvin Benjamin, Will Tye. You got a stacked group coming in. So Rodney Smith, Nooney Murray, Kermit Whitfield, a lot of former Knowles in there. Willie Halstead, Philip Riley. I don't know if you're not, and that's just the wide receiver unit. So, but yeah, let's jump into some basketball, Austin. I know that you had a few things. I think we have some background things going on. But,
mute it, Nate.
But yeah, Austin, Florida State loses to Michigan. We
wait.
Whoa.
Where's my Chick-fil-A trivia at?
Nah, I thought we didn't know who was going to be on. If it was just going to be me, Austin, and Dustin tonight, which we were thinking might happen, I was not setting that up. So we'll run it back next week. We'll run it back next week before the spring game. We'll have a really good one too next week.
Yeah, sure.
But I know you're hyped for it. I'm sorry.
It's the only reason I get on here. I'm trying to get me a damn gift card so I can afford.
You haven't afford one.
I'm broke.
Oh goodness gracious! You're about to get a job. Hopefully,
go ahead and give him my 4 that I've accumulated. Or
that's one meal for him. That's one meal for him, though, Nate. But yeah, let's jump into some Florida State basketball to end off the episode. Austin, Florida State loses to Michigan in the Sweet 16. Just kind of stinks. But was this like were you expecting this kind of loss though? I don't think any of us really were.
Yeah, no one saw that one coming. That was the first time I've seen Florida State get punched in the face like that in a long time, where a team just completely beat us. Everything we tried, Michigan just had a counter to it immediately. I haven't seen Florida State get beat like that in a long time, like probably since 2013, 2014, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Especially that second half when Michigan started running those high-low actions. They had accounted for every defense we threw at them. And I think at one point there were, 13 of 16 from the floor in the second half? Like, we were playing fine on offense, but Michigan was just scorching. We couldn't do anything to slow it down. And then it sucks to see them go out 2 days later and lose 51-49 to UCLA. That just made it worse.
Yeah, that was.
Let me say hats off to Michigan. Congratulations on your win. But when the officiating is 22 fouls on Florida State, 10 on Michigan, and you don't let Florida State play with the same physicality that you're letting Michigan play with the entire game, I mean, it's kind of bullshit in my opinion.
Because Raekwon Gray only played 3 minutes in the first half with foul trouble. I think Polite played 7 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble.
It was just a bunch of ticky-tacky crap.
Scotty Barnes got 4 quick ones in the second half. Officiating is absolutely not why we lost. Michigan just they killed us. There's no doubt about it.
It just didn't help.
But the officiating was bad. It was really bad.
Killed any kind of momentum. If Florida State was on somewhat of a small run, Foul.
I mean, we saw multiple times where Florida State was driving down on a fast break, and a Michigan defender would be in the way, moving laterally, and it was still a charge on Florida State. So, the fix was in my opinion.
Who was that on? MJ Walker? Was that on that one where it was just?
It was on everybody.
He had a charge. Turk had a charge. Turk had 2, I think, actually.
Gray was in shock in one of them. He was like,
he was in shock in all of his. That one foul he got on the chase action on the baseline where he's like on the baseline with the screen. He got a foul for that. That was horrible. There's just a lot of ticky tacky, especially on him. A lot of really soft stuff on Turk. That
it's just when you're getting those calls, and Leonard Hamilton's policy. When you get 2 fouls in that first half, you're probably sitting down until the break. It just takes this team out of its rhythm, and that's what it felt like the entire game. It felt like they could never get into a rhythm on either end, and Michigan took advantage of it. Credit to them. I thought Dickinson was, really excellent for them. He dominated Florida State inside for the most part. But I don't know, call it both ways.
Yeah, Brandon Johns was really good as well. I think he had his best game as a Wolverine for Michigan. He was really good. I think he had 14 points. They had Sean D. Brown had 12. They just had a lot of guys that did exactly what they needed to do for Michigan to have a good game. Florida State, when you have Raekwon Gray's your best player, most important player. When he's only playing 3 minutes in the first half because of fouls, I mean, that takes Florida State out of so much what they want to do. But I really don't want to talk about the game anymore. It's depressing.
Would you say this? In my opinion, I don't follow it as closely as you do, Austin. But it seems like from my point of view, that the season turned when Walker got hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
And when he was playing confident and scoring whatever it was, like 19 a game, Florida State was unstoppable. When he got hurt, it went sideways.
For sure, and it also goes to Raekwon Evans too. Those first few games when he started, Florida State was rolling. They were beating teams by 20, 25 every game. Then as teams realized what he wanted to do and got more film on him, he started to slow down, and so did the team. Most teams only go as their point guard goes. And I think we've talked at length enough about how bad Florida State's ball handling has been this year. It's not going to be the same next year. I think that had a big part to do with it. When Evans was playing really well, the team was playing really well. Once he started not playing as well, and then like you said, once MJ got hurt, it kind of had a feeling where the season was going. We came in thinking if you get to a Sweet 16 this year, that's a pretty good year considering you lost 2 lottery players plus one of the best players in program history. A Sweet 16 is absolutely fine for this team. It just sucks the way they went out.
I think we got to be ready for a top 10 preseason ranking, right?
Next year, anything that's not at least top 15 is an embarrassment to preseason rankings. Next year's team is unbelievably stacked, just top to bottom.
Ooh. Like hearing that. I'm all for it. I was just going to say, too, before we move on here, exceptional job as always, Austin. Your second time with us, really going through a full season at NG and basketball, but you absolutely killed it. The previews are incredible. The Michigan one I read, I didn't even watch basketball or Michigan basketball all season, but going through and actually getting snippets of the plays and running through the breakdowns, man, you killed it this season. So hats off.
There's nothing else like that.
No.
Basketball on the beat.
No, there's no better coverage. No better coverage out there. I could say it 30 times, but Austin knows. But
I think the only one close for basketball is Aria.
He's just so busy between baseball and play-by-plays, and I love Aria. Aria is my guy. He's awesome.
But, I agree. Killed it, man. Good job.
Yeah. It was a fun season, even if there was some not so fun moments, including the UCF game, and then losing by 20 to Michigan.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
There's a lot of fun stuff in between.
Yeah, along with instant reactions we've had, previews,
mad I was that UCF game.
No, we got on here, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
I don't know. That was the night I got engaged, I'm pretty sure. And I came home, and that ruined my night.
That was such a weird game.
I don't know.
Florida State wins that game
December 19th.
999 times out of 1,000, and that just happened to be the one.
I'm not upset losing to Michigan or in the Sweet 16. I'm more mad losing to Michigan. I hate Michigan.
Same. I cannot stand them.
Yeah. I can't
The worst
stand
part. The worst part is I've got a couple of customers at my store that are Michigan fans, and of course at halftime they're like, "Man, your team sucks." I'm like, all right, calm it down. I'm gonna charge you double next time you're in here.
Let's move on to Nate Jack here. We came public today that he intends to transfer from Florida State, but if some FSU fans don't know, this doesn't open up a scholarship for FSU, Austin.
Correct. It does not open up a spot because he was one of the couple of seniors that was using his extra eligibility year. Whichever team he goes to, he will count towards the scholarship limit, but he would have not counted towards Florida State, so it doesn't impact how they're looking into next season. I'm not surprised by it. I put it in my Discord notes immediately following the Michigan game, who had been here and who was staying, who was leaving. He was one of the guys that said, I think he's going to at least look to transfer, just see what options are out there. Where he goes, I don't know. I think he's a good player. He just has to be in the right system that uses that skill set right. Florida State's not the team to go to if you're just a sharpshooter.
Who do y'all think is, completely not FSU related, but where's Carolina go, coaching wise?
I was going to get to that after we talk about the players that are staying or leaving, but UNC losing Roy Williams, I wasn't surprised by it. I know a lot of people were, but you look at what's happened with them over the last month. They lose. They lost Daron Sharp to the NBA draft. They lost Walker Kessler to transfer. Caleb Love ended up staying, but he was looking to transfer for a little while. I think Armando Bacot's still deciding. And I think Garrison Brooks is a graduate. I don't think he was using his extra year. They're losing a lot of guys. So it wasn't a surprise. And they've only got, I think, 1 or 2 signees for next year. So it wasn't a huge surprise. UNC is one of those schools, they keep things in the family when it comes to basketball. I think they're going to look at Wes Miller, the UNC Greensboro coach. Been there for 10 years. He talks to Roy Williams every day. UNC grad. Makes a ton of sense.
Don't you think they can get better though?
They could get anybody they want. But they'll give Brad Stevens a call because Brad Stevens did grad school at UNC.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, they'll give.
Well, the Celtics are horrible this year, so right now is the perfect time for them to bow out.
They'll give anybody who's anybody a call, but it's going to be one of those. They're going to keep it in the family for sure. I couldn't tell you the last time they hired outside the family. It's just one of those schools.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, do you want to go through and you put out an article earlier this week immediately after the game, kind of predicting who you think will intend on transferring or staying at FSU. I know we've been talking a lot about Raekwon Gray in the group chat, and that's Florida State's best player last year. But what do you think the latest is on there? Are you hearing anything on a few guys?
Everything I hear, it's not from the Florida State side. Everything I hear is from NBA scouts, NBA teams. What they think of certain players. Obviously, the big one's Turk. He's such a big player. Everything I've heard is scouts want him to go back for another year. They like him, but not enough to convince him to come out. And if he came out, I don't think he'd be drafted. I've only seen him pop up on a couple of big boards here and there, and even then, he's like 90th, which in an NBA draft where there's only 2 rounds, that's not good enough. He's got the skill set at 6'8", 260. Can put the ball on the floor, drive, play exceptional defense. But they want to see him improve his shot selection, his efficiency, especially from the perimeter. And then limit the turnovers and fouls because, there was 16 games where he had 3 or more fouls, 11 or 12 games with 3 or more turnovers. That kind of stuff has to be calmed down a little bit. And I think next year where he wouldn't be as relied upon as a ball handler would be huge. He can focus on everything else. But everything I've heard, he does intend to come back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he likes to test the water, see what NBA teams tell him.
That's huge, right, D-Lou? That's a big-time player coming back for an already stacked team returning and the talent coming in, man. You can't help but get excited if that intends on being true.
Oh, absolutely. Another year with Raekwon just continuing to improve. It'll be even better for Florida State next year alongside a stacked team. So I think having a veteran guy like that has that experience going deep into the tournament and, also who was developing into Florida State's #1 option this year, he can only get better by coming back. And I think another big one that people want to hear about Austin is MJ Walker, because, he was honored on senior day. It really seemed like he was getting prepared to, move on to the next level. And then after the loss on Sunday night, he kind of made some comments in his post-game press conference that made it seem like he was going to consider returning to Florida State for his extra season of eligibility. So have you heard anything more on that over the last couple of days since he made those comments?
I think he was just saying the right thing in the moment, which it was a good answer. He said, I'll talk about it with my coaches and my parents when I get back to Tallahassee, which I think is the right answer. You don't want to flat out say after losing by 20, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
He's
did a good job with the PR. He's done his studying.
Yeah, he's been here 4 years. He knows what to expect with the media.
Does he have a spot though? Really? I mean, does he have a spot?
If he wants to come back, he'll be welcome back. He's a 1,000-point scorer. He'll be welcome back if he wants to. He didn't. I don't think he wants to come back, or I don't think he wanted to before the tournament. But the last month and a half where he's playing hurt, he's playing through knee and ankle injuries. I think it just left a bad taste in his mouth. And I think he's at least somewhat considering it more than he was, a month and a half ago. Do I think he comes back? No. I think it's really tough for a senior to come back and improve upon an NBA draft stock. I think he just kind of has to take what he has right now and goes. At least get a G League spot, fight in the summer league, fight for a roster spot, and see what happens with there. I don't think a fifth year would benefit him any. But if he came back, obviously Florida State would welcome him back.
Anything else that maybe worth noting there on staying, leaving? I
mean, Scotty Barnes gone.
That's what I was gonna say. Scotty's gone.
Don't even think about it.
Stay off the weed, people. Don't be too crazy here. I had to kind of just be. I was drinking quite a bit that night. I had to. I mean, that's what you're supposed to. But please, people, let's stop the kind of Scotty Barnes should come back. He was terrible this year. He's all. Can we use our brains sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. I was gonna say, Austin, how many people were tweeting you after the game and everything saying, "Oh, Scotty's got to come back. He's got to improve his shot. He can get his draft stock better."
There's so many things he can improve upon, but there's no reason for him to do it for free.
Yeah, for free.
Florida State's got one of the 3 or 4 best development staffs in the country. Like that's no debate. But when he's projected to go between 6 and 10 right now, he's about to be a multi-millionaire. He can do it while being paid.
Yeah, and he gets to play basketball full time, not have to worry about school.
Yeah, thank you for your 1 year in Tallahassee. You helped Florida State become a destination place for recruits. Go get paid, young man. Thank you.
Oh God, some people amaze me. That just amazed me. And I had to actually answer questions that you usually answer, Austin. But I feel like this is just it's easy enough for me to answer, which is saying something.
Part of it is Florida State fans just aren't used to one and dones. We've had 3? Yeah. Malik Beasley, John Isaac, and now Scotty. Am I missing anybody? Deal? Pat.
Yeah, I was about to say Pat. I was like, do I jump in here?
So this will be our 4th.
Yeah.
Florida State fans
get used to it. You got to start getting used to it.
I'll have 2 next year, right?
No. Cleveland's a maybe. Worley, no. Just seeing their offseason plan of, you already went and got Caleb Mills, and they're still recruiting another point guard makes me think they view Worley as at least a 2 to 3 year guy.
Into,
I guess, great transition of guys we're looking at. Mm-hmm. The big one to me is Syracuse's Kadary Richmond. I thought he was misutilized at Syracuse. They played him more at the 2 and the 3 than point guard. He's a point guard, despite being 6'6", really long and athletic. He still had, I think it was 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, 3-to-1, something like that. Average 3 assists per game. I think he's a really talented playmaker that wasn't utilized quite the right way. Florida State was in his top 5 coming out of high school, and I think he's very seriously considering us again. I believe Tipton Edits, who, they're the ones that make all these edits for these high school kids. They said expect Florida State to be the favorite. I would really like to see him in Tallahassee next year. I think he's a very talented player. They've also contacted DePaul's Keon Edwards, 6'7" wing which Florida State's also looking at some wings. If they were to land a win, I think that means someone else is leaving. But nothing set in stone yet. I've also reached out to Northern State's Parker Fox. That's a Division II school, but he averaged 22 points per game last year. Very athletic, which you don't normally see from D2 guys. Not a great shooter, so I don't know about the fit there. I don't think that happens. I've reached out to Kentucky's Cameron Fletcher, another guy that plays on the wing, but I just don't see it being a Florida State fit. He had that big argument with John Calipari, and that got suspended. I don't see Florida State going after a guy like that. And then they haven't reached out to him yet, but people said to watch out for it. Michigan State's Rocket Watts. It's another guy that they recruited heavily out of high school. But Watts has said he wants to play shooting guard, and at 6'2", I just don't think that's a fit for Florida State, and I don't see it happening. Right now, I'm looking at Kadary Richmond. Illinois' Miller just said he's transferring. I would really like to get him as well. But right now, Richmond's the big one.
Sweet deal. Does that wrap up the 2020 to 2021 basketball season for Florida State? I think it
just about.
I think it almost does. We've just set it down in the grave. Nothing happened. I mean, I still think, to me, I believe all of us on here predicted with Arya that this was a Sweet 16 team. I don't think did anybody say Elite 8 on here?
I think I just said second weekend. I'd have to go back, but I think I said second weekend.
Yeah. I don't think anybody said Elite 8. I don't think.
Can't remember that long ago. I don't know what I said. Tell me what I said.
I'm asking the wrong person.
Play the clip.
I think what I'd said is, second weekend with a chance to make a Final Four if things break the right way, which is kind of how the season played out. At one point they did look like a Final Four team. It just didn't work out that way. It's still a good season either way.
Yep, absolutely. All right. I think that practically does it right on the 10 o'clock dot. We'll be recording next weekend. I think Austin might be in town. We might do a little between me, D-Lou, and Austin. We might do a little trio here. I think Karlos's phone died, so if you haven't heard from him in the last 45 minutes, that's what happened. So he did
because I know he had some stuff to say about me about the team.
Yeah, no, he was really going to come after you
a little bit. We were going at it on Twitter a little bit.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. So maybe we'll save it for next week. But yeah, we'll be previewing a little bit of Florida State spring game. I'm sure we'll have a lot of recruiting to kind of finalize and get a feel about what this list looks like recruiting wise. Heading in, we'll all be, except for I don't know with Nate and everybody, but I think 4 of us will be there for the spring game. Excited to be back inside Doak for kind of a more game feely type. How many tickets have been sold? 9,000, I believe. 9,000 have been sold. Somewhere around there. But
you're asking the wrong people.
I know, I'm asking the wrong peeps. I'm asking the wrong ones. But thank you guys as always listening to us on Hear the Spear.
Hey, before we go, I missed it last time.
Yeah.
I got to shout out Travis Hunter, best player in the 21, 22, 23 class.
Could have done that earlier when we were talking about him.
I know, yeah. I got to wait.
To save it.
And also happy birthday to the great Sean Taylor, the best Miami Hurricane player. For me, I love that guy. He's my favorite safety of all time. So it's a shame, his life was cut short. So that's my little carrot dangle for those Miami fans that still like to listen. 82-0.
I was about to say, your Miami fans are probably going to appreciate it a little bit. But yeah,
Sean Taylor was a man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I wish I could have seen him play. I wish there's some of these guys like P-Dub. If I was at least a little bit older, man, I would pay money to see some of these guys play.
The fact that Miami had Ed Reed and Sean Taylor, it's just crazy.
Yeah, not fair. But also shout out to VZ too. His birthday's on Saturday, so happy birthday. Damn, what do you say, Nate?
Whatever, man.
I expect nothing less.
This is how this group works.
How are you going to be, 21, 22?
24.
16, whatever.
24. I'm getting old, man. I feel old.
Oh, my God.
Got to ice my knees every day.
It's that hip, right?
Yeah, between 2 hip surgeries, my knees, my back. I feel old, man.
What shoes you getting for your birthday?
Whatever the guys give me. I'm not sure yet.
You get them from work?
Yeah. Yeah, like usually all the main sales guys, we all like get together on each other's birthday and get the guy something. So you'd think they do the same for me, but we'll see.
Not gonna be any for you though, Nate. I ain't coming to your house.
That's fine. It's whatever. You know, it's whatever.
Nate, we're really not gonna see you at the spring game, man.
And not after today, man. You know,
man.
We're gonna have to hear about that in a couple minutes.
Dustin, I was waiting for Nate to get your ass. Well, maybe me too. I don't know. I was kind of being a little snarky this week. Nate, you're always just snarky though in the group chat. But I thought D-Lou, this was supposed to be D-Lou's next weekend. He said he was getting in shape to be able to whoop your ass at the tailgate.
What?
Logan just likes coming up with storylines because he can't beat Los in a race.
Yeah,
I tried. I've told Los. I've told
See,
Los.
me and Nate were both like,
no. Nate is told no. Nate has said he's gonna slap. He said he's gonna bitch slap Dustin.
Yeah, I got time in Orlando for that, but we didn't even talk about that dumbass picture that you put online with you in those gloves, man. That was horrible. That was awful.
Justin Bieber haircut.
Hey, I was at a pretty good height then.
How'd you even get in there?
Don't send out the podcast. I don't know how I got in there. No, I got in there. That was a long time ago, though. That was a long time ago.
Also, real quick with Roy Williams going out, his last ACC loss to Leonard Hamilton in Florida State in the ACC tournament.
I like that.
Good.
I don't hate Roy Williams like I hate Shishexy, whatever the hell his name is.
I mean, Duke's not had a great offseason either. Like during the podcast,
call him Coach K, Logan.
Yeah, it came out during the podcast. DJ Stewart's going to the draft. They lost Jalen.
How much
Johnson.
longer he's got?
Maybe 4 or 5 seasons. Maybe.
You think he's got that long left?
That's a while.
That's a long time. He's like what, 72 years old?
Same age as Ham, and Ham just signed a 5-year extension.
Ham's got that young. He's got that young blood in him though. New blood. Get it? All right, let's get off with this podcast. Let's get off with this. Let's get off of here. Thanks everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. Shout out to the guys on here for another great episode. Y'all guys have a great weekend. Happy Easter and enjoy the weekend. See you guys.
Not the same word. 17